G'day fellas and welcome to A Casted Game. This is game number 2 of the series between Vortix, who spawns in on the west side of the map playing as the Deli, and his opponent Papipaw, who spawns in on the east side of the map playing as China in the red. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a little bit of a switcheroo after last game. You guys, if you didn't catch it, it was a very, very quick one. Less than 8 minutes that game took before the game was over. Vortix picking the Chinese early, and my theory is that he picked it nice and early to get it out of the way and done. Also manages to snipe out one of his enemies' top tier civilizations by doing that. Keep in mind, Vortix not the strongest China player, and so gets it out of the way for himself. A little bit, I don't know, I wouldn't necessarily call it a throw, but it was definitely a calculated throw. I'd call it that one, because it is intentional. And look, at the end of the day, it is his intent to win this event. There is a golden ticket on the line right now to the Red Bull Wololo Legacy. So that is a pretty big event, $300,000. He wants to win. I assure you there's no throwing going on at this point. But let's talk a little bit about this game, about what we expect to happen, because we've got Papipaw going for a bit of a classic build here. This is something that we see Beastie do quite a bit. It's the 7-3 build order. Interestingly, no Imperial Official coming out for Puppy early. So looking like he might have fell asleep at the keyboard right there. Imperial Official just going to be coming out, not even going to be supervising. There we go. He's managed to fix it up. Don't worry. Double scout opening for him. We'll check in over with his opponent Vortix and see how he's doing. It's going to be a double scout opening for him as well. In this matchup, typically you would expect China to be going double scout opening and then looking to go for, typically in my experience, you want to go for that fast, that super duper fast dynasty. Now, you guys would have seen all the videos that I've done on China and their fast dynasties. You can get them down real quick. I think the fastest time I got was about 4 minutes 40 for my Song Dynasty. But you can get like a 5-minute Song Dynasty is about standard. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Papipaw goes for here in this early stage of the game. Only 2 on gold, so going to be a little bit slower than typical. Now, one of the big factors is going to be early sacred sites. Getting these early sacred sites under your control as the Deli is going to be key. And by the same token, looking to deny them as the Chinese is going to be another big factor. Now, remember, in the last game, we had Vortix on the Chinese. He's not too comfortable with the Chinese. Papipaw, on the other hand, he plays a bit of China. I watch his stream a fair bit. And I'll be honest with you guys, I see him play China quite a bit. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what he's got in store for us today outside one of the better Chinese maps. And pretty decent spawn actually for him. He's going to be able to wall up this little segment here, wall across this position, and then wall across. I mean, he's probably not going to be able to wall across there. I mean, he could try. It's a pretty damn big wall though. But I guess the other alternative is he looks to Barbican it. But typically what you would do on this map as the Chinese is look to Barbican the center. Now, there's 2 options for you. You can look to go and do it early, like what he appears to be doing right now. In which case, if he's doing that with villages that have got wood on it, I'm feeling a little bit scared for him right now. The other alternative is that he goes Imperial Academy and then drops down the Barbican with, 4 or 5 early villages. But in this case, he's only going to need to bring 2 or 3 villages out. As long as he's got his scouts around to defend as well, he's going to be able to deflect it. It does the right thing as well. So securing that one up. We'll take a look from Vortix. It doesn't look like he's going to be interested in trying to deny that. I've seen cases where the Deli player will look to bring maybe 7 or 8 villages out and try and force this Barbican back. It's a huge investment though, and I wouldn't recommend it. It's probably better just to, honestly, the best thing that you can do is just bring up 3 or 4 scholars. 2 or 3 is normally enough to do it, and just try and cap the sacred site that way. The problem is if a scout runs in and stands on the sacred site, then you're not going to be able to cap it, are you? So the Barbican does a pretty decent job of holding on. And now the question is where else Papipaw goes from here. So I guess for me, the way I like to play this matchup is I would be sending a scout out to each sacred site, but you don't want to keep it on the sacred site. You want to sort of keep it just around the sacred site. So like maybe a scout here, and then my other scout, so for here, the sacred site. So you'd probably be looking to like maybe put the scout down over here, and you're just keeping them waiting in the winds. Age up comes through now, 4 minutes 16, early age up for Papipaw. He's going to be gathering up that wood now as well. We'll check in with him and see if he's going for a dynasty. At this point, it looks like he's still intent on going up for that dynasty, but it's going to be quite slow. I say quite slow. I mean, we're not looking at world record times here, but we are watching pretty heated gaming moments, that's for sure. Age up coming through, so he's up at a pretty decent time, though. 4 minutes, not bad at all. And so the question is whether he looks to go for any outposts on the edges of the map, and that's exactly what it's going to be looking like. And we begin to see villagers moving out. So going to be playing a little bit non-standard, I would say, in this matchup. So the other alternative is that you look to play a very heavy Chukunu and Spearman mix, and then look to try and defend here from your Barbican, and then try and look to play towards the north, look to try and play towards the south. It can be tough. You can be overwhelmed by the horsemen, and we can now see a Blacksmith going to be coming down, a stable going to be coming down with it. Vortex going to be going for a one stable opening here. Probably just going to be looking to get in his ranged armor as well. Nothing more than that, but we do begin to see walls actually coming down for him here on one side of the ridgeline. Now, one thing you've got to be careful of is there might be holes in this ridgeline. This right here could potentially be a hole. That could potentially be a hole. But you're going to make the assumption that it's probably not. But one of the things that will happen, and I do assure you it will happen, is that you have scholars walk the long way. They will walk the long way. I guarantee you they will walk the long way. They will go all the way around and they will look to capture this. So you got to make sure that you wall off both sides. It just makes it so much easier and guarantees that you're not going to be stuck in a bad spot. As well, you can see he doesn't wall out the wood line. It's really key. You don't want to wall the wood line because of a chop through that could potentially come through. So really smart moves there early. And now looking to get a wall down on this little area here. So once again, you got to just be careful of the potential of a scholar walking down along the edge here. They do get that 130 health as well because of Piety. You can see that he has research Piety. So he's going to be able to survive in that early stages. But we see the first horseman going to be coming out. He's going to be trying to get this palisade wall up. He's actually going through. He might be able to get the last one in. He does get the block off successfully. Scout's going to be able to chase away that other scout from Vortex. He turns his attention now towards that palisade wall. Unfortunately for him, looks like the heal's going to be coming through, or the repair, or rather the building, going to just come in way too soon. And with that, it is going to seal out that position. It means he's going to have to break through on the walls over on this side as one of his potential openings. But you can see already the difference between these two guys. Like, obviously Vortex, he just threw away China. He's like, you know what, I don't care, I'm gonna get your Mongols for it anyway. And then by the same token, Puppy Paw's like, yeah, that's fine, I'll just go on a map that's like a good China map, like this one right here, and I'll pick China. And that's exactly what we've got. So we've got Altai, we've got China, and it's going to take out a Delhi. Even in the event that he doesn't kill the Delhi, I mean, he's gotten rid of the Delhi, so at least he evens up the series 1-1, and both players going to be without their two S-tier civilizations. Down towards the south, it looks like that scout almost getting cleaned up. It's got 7 health left on it. Horsemen going to be able to run around, and that's what you've got to be careful of, those scholars. They will do that. Now we actually see the walls coming in on the backside. This is the smart move, and this is something I 100% agree with, because they will always try and sneak a scholar. So if he's able to get this wall up, it's going to guarantee that no scholar is going to be able to come through, at least until a chop through comes. At the same time, down towards the south, he's walled this sacred site in completely. Again, something that I just completely agree with. This is such a smart move, and just such incredible foresight from Puppy Paw. He's been in this position before. He's been on the ladder. He knows what he's up against here, and super smart moves. We're at that 7-minute 45 mark. This is right about where we would expect Sanctity to be coming close to an end, and you would expect to see all 3 of those scholars starting to move out, but not going to be the case here. And we do see Puppy Paw moving with archers as well as just a handful of spearmen. Palisade wall going to be coming down here. Has also got the horsemen up on that backside as well. And with that, should be able to break, or should be able to go through this wall, clear out the horsemen, and then march the villager down here to actually repair that hole, get himself up a little bit more control. We'll watch to see whether he does it. No Dynasty actually coming through for him either, so not going to be heading into Chukunu. One of the I guess it's a big investment in the early stages of the game, and he's already spent a lot of resources on those walls. But now coming out with his scout, he's going to spot out these forward villagers on these berry bushes. He's still got berry bushes back towards his base. The Song Dynasty going to be coming through for him as well. So he could be looking to go towards Chukunu. Imperial Official going to be supervising up probably the barracks, I would suspect. Yeah, it's going to be the barracks that he's supervising. Actually, he's not even supervising anymore. He just moved the Imperial Official second town center. There is potential for that. The other alternative is that he looks to go into arrow slits on outposts. But in the reality, I mean, the walls are going to do all that they need to do here. I would suspect that's going to be, if anything, second town center. But now we see that villager coming out. Remember, we talked about this earlier, and it looks like it's actually going to be a wall that comes up. Look at Puppy Paw. You can't mess. Don't even try against this guy. It's just not going to happen. Wall coming up all the way around. You go for a chop through. That's fine. I'll delete the lumber camp. I don't give a crap. I will take it. And Scout's going to be chasing it back. We've got the Song Dynasty coming through now for Puppy Paw. We'll look to see whether he goes into Chokanu, and that's exactly what he's going to be doing there. No supervision coming in just yet, but he's walking on that second town center. We can see him focusing it down now. He's got 3 Imperial Officials. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1 on the lumber camp. He's got to refresh that lumber camp as well. Quite a bit of a distance there. But now things looking good for Puppy Paw, though. He's coming out causing havoc. The main thing that you've got to be concerned for is that you don't have enough horsemen here. And indeed, it seems the case. Or rather, enough spearmen here for the horsemen. He falls back towards the Barbican. Going to be able to hold on for this point in time. Able to move out with all these forces towards the central sacred site and look to take it. It hasn't been walled up, so he's going to be able to get in on top of it. The issue that he's going to have is obviously this Barbican. It's heavy. It means business. And indeed, those 3 scholars are going to be able to sustain fire from the Barbican. I don't think they're going to be able to sustain the fire from the archers as well. But you'll watch right now as they come through with the healing. The healing going to be able to do more than enough there against that. And now the scholars even just turning their attention towards some of the military units. They're like, you know what? I don't even care. Spearmen running around that sacred site. You can see the way that the archers are just coming back here, kiting. And you've got to be so careful in this situation, and that's exactly right now what Vortex is taking advantage of. Sacred Site, he's using it to bait out the fight here. That's what he wants. He wants to take the fight. Ideally, what you'd want to see is just a scout move on and try and neutralize this, but there's a lot of archers here. He's going to be able to take away this Sacred Site in the center, so already a nice little victory here for Vortex. And this is the consequence of taking these early positions. You can see the scholars just chilling out for the moment. He's able to keep them going non-stop. Now, I'm pretty confident the range here on that Barbican is still going to be 8 tiles, even for the arrows that are inside it. So he could actually fire down those scholars with the units inside, but the Sacred Site is eventually captured. He's going to be able to now start challenging it as well, which is going to cause more havoc and force out APM responses from Vortex. Second town center now coming up for Puppy Paw. And we start to think a little bit more about the mid-game. You know, let's talk about theory. In the event that Puppy Paw manages to make it towards that 15-minute mark, that 20-minute mark, one of the things he's got to be really careful of is going to be those elephant masses. The elephant masses, together with the scholars, are difficult to deal with. As the Chinese, as any civilization, they're frustrating to deal with. They are so potent. And we can see, look at this cheeky little play right here from Puppy Paw with the scout on the sacred site, just going to be able to force that away. Such a high value play here with such a low value unit. I really, really love that. And that's going to deny the sacred site out. And now you can see picking up reinforcements. It looks like now he's going to be turning his attention towards the south side. We can see Siege Engineering in queue at the moment, but not going to be able to apply too much pressure. Outpost going to be coming down as well. Going to guarantee that this gold is kept alive a little bit longer. You can see the arrow slits coming through. Villagers going to be able to jump inside. And remember, there's no battering rams coming down at all in the meantime. So this outpost, it stands strong, and it will stand for a long time. Horsemen now turning towards that outpost. Villagers going down. That's 2 villagers. Imperial Official might go down here. That's going to be an expensive loss. 150 resources, as well as that 20-second build time. Units coming back. It's going to be the Chokunu. They don't yet have their +1 ranged armor at this point, or ranged attack rather. We can see that both of the upgrades have come through at the moment for the archers of the Delhi player. And now those Chokunu, you can hear them pumping off. This is what the Chinese is all about. But let's talk, we talked about it a bit earlier. Once you get to that mid-game, what do you do up against that? And I'll be honest with you, the best thing that you can do is going to Imperial. Personally, I love the Chokunu. I think the Imperial Chokunu, or Elite Chokunu, once it's got all of its upgrades ticked off, it's an absolute beast. The other alternative is that you look to go into Bombards. Those are going to be really effective. They also snipe out the scholars and prevent any sort of overheal from coming through on any other of the allied scholars. So very effective at sniping those out. So you take out the scholars first, and then you can take out the elephants. So that's the other alternative. Those are my 2 go-tos. But we'll look to see how Puppy Paw plays it, because at this early stage of the game, he's managed to force out 3 sacred sites, all going away from his opponent. So really, really well played at this point from Puppy Paw. I've got to give him a 10 so far for his gameplay. Villagers going to be careful not to go down here. They're going to be picked off by those archers. The numbers here looking pretty healthy at the moment for Vortex. Ideally, you'd want to avoid this fight. You don't need to take this fight. You're scaling with the 2 town centers. Ideally, you just want to stay in feudal as long as possible, build up that Chokunu mass, maybe drop a couple more archery ranges down, but he's going to look to try and take the fight. The spearmen will get picked off. He's got to try and keep them back towards that town center. He doesn't want them to die. Chokunu moving forward. They've got their +1 ranged attack now in. Going to help him and looks to try and take out the scholars on the backside. But remember, this is a fight you don't need to take in this position. Sure, you've got a wood line right here, but you've got a wood line towards the north that you could take as well. He's going to manage to hold for the moment, though. The spearmen, as well as the Chokunu, looking to try and push these units back. But now the horsemen are going to be coming in as well. We hear more units being produced from Vortex at the same time. It's going to be archers as well as scholars that are in queue. Siege Engineering almost finished here. He's down to 24 seconds to go. But ideally, you don't want to be fighting until you have to. The Chokunu is still looking so damn good, so damn strong. That +1 armor absolutely meaning nothing right now with those Chokunu just melting through it. And I mean, at this point, Puppy Paw just looking absolutely dominating from this position. He's managed to stop both of these sacred sites from being captured. He's done a great job of preventing that. At the same time, in towards the center, he's able to attract APM out here in the event that the enemy wants to take the sacred site, but also neutralizes the sacred site as well with the scout and the Barbican. And there's no way you're going to be breaking through this Barbican unless you've got a mass of about 15 horsemen or some battering rams. And the battering rams do finally come out now, but the time has been bought, and that's the big factor. Right now, we check the village account, 45 versus 57, and that's going to keep scaling. Remember, we got Song Dynasty to work for here. Outpost going to be going up. Going to be able to spot that. You can see no gold in the bank right now. He's got to start thinking about secondary gold, but the problem's going to be his secondary gold is down here towards the south. He's got nothing on this eastern side. The other alternative is towards the middle here. He could look to drop a mining camp out here and gather up some gold there. But now that battering ram's going to start rolling in. Second one is here as well. Now, ideally, the composition that Puppy Paw needs is just full Choku Nu. He doesn't need anything but Choku Nu at this point. But the problem is he's got no gold in the bank, and you can see that now it's going to mean that he heads towards archers. So if there's one way that Vortex can potentially win this, it's going to be by isolating that gold, and he's done a great job so far in this game at doing that. So really smart moves from him. And now looking to posture on this Imperial Academy. Got to be careful with these Imperial officials. You guys know these Imperial officials get suicidal. You got to really hold them back from dying. Ideally, you want to put them up here like this. Start them supervising. You don't want them collecting gold when there's a big fight like this happening, because they will head out towards this mining camp. They're like, oh, 2 gold. Let me go and get it. And then not realize that there's 48 units that are down towards this position. I mean, next golds, I mean, there's a big gold down towards the south. That's going to be an option for him. Big golds up towards the north as well could be options. But the Imperial Academy going to be going down. Not a huge loss here for Puppy Paw. I mean, it hurts. But at the end of the day, it's not a big loss. You know what I mean? Like, it's not massive. It's not like you're losing the School of Cavalry or something like that. It's just a Chinese landmark. I'll be honest with you. Chinese landmark. This landmark's actually pretty damn decent. But, I mean, you've gotten a lot of good value out of it already. That's the big factor, is that you've gotten a lot of value out of it already, and now it's just buying you time. And that's a great thing. That's what you want. You want time on your side, because the longer this game goes on, the better it is for you. You're on 2 town centers. Your enemy's on 1. They've got no sacred sites. You're scaling really well. And now the farm's going to be coming down for our Chinese player. So a lot of farms coming in around the town center. Looks like we might have a little bit of a push. We'll enter into the cinematic mode so that we can begin to witness this battle in all of its beauty. Battering ram going to get focused down here. Horsemen looking to really turn their attention towards it. A single battering ram now remaining. Looks like he's going to have to get another one out if he wants to try and continue this push, as more and more Choku Nu on the backside looking to try and tee off towards their enemy. A lot of spearmen here just getting terribly pathed, unfortunately. They're going to have to head back towards the town center, because if he loses these spearmen, he's going to get overwhelmed by the horsemen. And we can see now the spearmen numbers are beginning to dwindle. But at the same time, the horsemen numbers are falling down. They're falling down. I don't know if I'd say falling down, but they are going down. But this is the problem right here. Now the horsemen numbers are too high. And with the horsemen numbers being too high, we've got a problem. Vortex reaching the castle age. And with that, it is only a matter of time before those men-at-arms start rolling in, before those knights start rolling in, before those elephant start rolling in. That's when things start to get really, really awry. I say rolling in. I mean, elephants, you probably roll them in, don't you? But now the Choku Nu are all that remain for this army. Ideally, this is really what you want, but there's just not enough of them. That's the big factor. He's only got that single archery range out. There's no secondary archery range here, but he's doing a good job of holding up until this point. The archers are going to get pushed back by the Choku Nu, and with that, they're also going to be able to focus down the battering rams. A big buff that's coming in the next patch is a buff to the Choku Nu. How are they getting buffed? Well, the battering rams going from 700 down to 420 health. Choku Nu still do 1 damage a pop to them, 1 every volley, and you can see they absolutely slice through this armor. So they're going to be, you know, they're going to be buffed up nice and early. It's going to be so hard to do a battering ram rush against Choku Nu in the next patch. Maybe that's the play for China. Maybe we go like heavy. Maybe we go like battering rams and outposts. Or sorry, Choku Nu and outposts. Maybe that's the play. But now continuing to push back, we do see the beginnings of the Lancers getting mixed in here. Puppy Paw just going with Choku Nu and Horseman himself. We'll check in over on his opponent's side. Relic probably going to start getting picked up as well. We can see that there are plenty of relics out on the map. 1, 2, 3. I see 4 so far. I don't know where that 5th one is, but I suspect it's probably on the way back in. There they are now getting picked up. Over towards that west side. It looks like a villager actually just went down to the wolf. Oh my lord, the villager going down over to that wolf. That is a terrible outcome over there for Puppy Paw. We'll check in on the village account and see how it's doing. 56 for Vortex, 89 for Puppy Paw. So the scaling is well and truly here. He just needs to survive. Remember, that's the key factor here. He just has to survive, but the problem is he's stuck in the second age. He doesn't really have a way forward from here. And once those Lancer numbers start to build up, this is where it starts to get really difficult for our Chinese player. He's done a good job holding on this long. You know, I think what is so impressive, and this is something that I really want to remark on, even though China has done so well to deny the sacred sites, every single one of them, only one of them was captured for a brief moment. Every single one it still feels like China is behind. Even though they're up by 30 villages, it still feels like they're behind. I don't know about you guys, but to me, it feels like they're behind. And now we see the first keep going to be coming down. Of course, it was the House of Learning that went down, not going for the compound of the defender. Very curious. So with this, the House of Learning coming, or rather, the keep coming down on the front side, how does China deal with this at the early stages of the game? Well, I'll tell you now, it becomes very difficult. So Push is going to be coming through. He's going to be looking to focus down the villages. We can see the villagers getting focused down individually, losing their lives. He's got 8 of them out here at the moment. 7, 6. They continue getting taken out. You can see on the front side, the Lancer's going to be trying to tank it up. On the back side, we've got a raid coming through. He's trying to get up towards that castle age. He's got 1,000 wood in the bank. Villager's going to have to fall back over towards that western side of the keep. But there might not be enough units to just hold it on for the moment. He might have to send more reinforcing villagers to the front line. He's lost quite a bit out there. 94 villagers for Puppy Paw at the moment compared to 52 for Vortex. So things looking about double where he's at the moment. He needs to try and hold on in this position, but the hard part is getting up to that castle age. That is where it really gets hard, because if this keep gets up, it makes it very, very difficult for China to do that, because he's going to be able to daisy chain the keeps in. He's going to be able to bring a trebuchet out, start walking with those elephants forward, and even if you're behind, even if you're behind by 50 villages, it doesn't matter, because the elephants are just impossible for you to kill. He's going to be constantly getting great trades, always healing them up with his scholars. And speaking of scholars, I mean, let's take a look right now. How many scholars are we talking? 7 scholars at the moment for Vortex, I would suspect. Yeah, we've got 7 scholars at the moment for Vortex, so a decent number of scholars is what I'm pointing to. But it looks like for the moment now, Puppy Paw going to be falling back. He's going to be able to age up. I suspect he's probably going to market somewhere. We'll check over on that north side. No, that's a trading post. No market coming through just yet. Interesting, no market. Villager's going to be going down, though, on this northern tree line. Keep does go up. And with that, Puppy Paw in a bit of a tough spot. Now, remember, when he ages up, he's going to be able to drop down his astronomical clock tower. That is going to be able to automatically give him those clock tower trebuchets, which will work to take out this keep. But the problem is going to be that his enemy's now working towards that siege, and he's got a number of good things going for him. So first and foremost, he's picked up a lot of relics. So we take a look back towards the base, and we do see that there are 3 relics in the bag for Vortex. He ideally needs to break through these walls so that he can go towards the relic over on the east side. Not probably going to happen. Knights managing to make it through. You can see them trying their best. Oh my lord, we just got taken out by the astronomical clock towers. The first thing that's going to come out is going to be the nest of bees instead. But with that, we see more and more villagers just getting attacked. He's going heavily on the stone, so I suspect we're going to be seeing a keep drop down very shortly. 691 stone in the bank right there. The Chocanu managing to hold on, and we're looking like it's a pretty decent Chinese hold for the moment. He's managed to make it all the way up to the castle age without dying. And I guess that's going to be really given credit to the fact that he has enabled, or rather disabled, the sacred sites for his opponent. We've never seen those sacred sites actually taken, and it's meant that the tempo advantage has been a little bit slower, a little bit lower than what you would typically expect out of a Delhi player. But now beginning to work on the rest of the base of our Chinese player. Puppy Paw is under attack. That trebuchet going to begin working there. We see the scholar is still yet to enter into the siege workshop. But now back towards the backside, we see a Lancer going to be coming through. It's got that +2 range armor as well, so Chocanu going to be doing -1 damage towards these units. So unfortunately, they don't heal them up, but they do a minimum of one minimum damage. That's what it's going to be. Nest of Bees is out now. So we may potentially look to see some Springalds coming out as well. But I suspect it's just going to be trebuchets for now. He's got no reason to actually make Springalds because he's got nothing that needs protecting at this point. Puppy Paw really under threat. We'll ride on board with Vortex for a little bit and see what he's up to, see how he's doing, whether he's looking to go into those village fortresses or not. Let's have a look and see what we've got. Village fortresses not even being researched at this point, so not really thinking about it. 900 stone in the bank. Ideally, you'd love to see out of him that compound of the defender, and then from there going into a very heavy keep composition. That can be something very difficult to deal with as the Chinese. Knight's going to be the way that he's looking, though. And interestingly, because he's got no sacred sites, doesn't really have that big bank of gold, which means not as many elephants as what you would expect. Normally, at this point in the game, you'd be expecting about 4 or 5 elephants to be coming out for our Delhi player. But just simply because Puppy Paw has done such a great job of denying the gold from the sacred sites, it means that those sacred sites are never going to be able to transfer that gold over towards the Delhi player. He's never going to be able to use those to then make his elephants. But now looking to hold on a bit longer. How much longer can Puppy Paw hold? That is the question, because things are starting to look grim for him. That keep is going to be going down, and keep in mind, for the moment, it's going to cost wood for him. But when the next patch drops, ladies and gentlemen, it is not going to be wood anymore. It is going to be stone that is required to repair those keeps. Keep in mind, your Barbican in the middle of the map That's still going to take wood, though. So there might be a significant advantage to actually starting to build those keep landmarks. Things like the White Castle, or the White Tower, rather, the Red Palace. These landmarks might become a little bit more in the meta. But we'll have to wait and see how it gets played out. Another keep going to get dropped down now from Vortix. It's up on the mountainside here. He's got a lot of villagers coming forward. I say a lot. It's only 9 villagers. There's going to be plenty of villagers that can be pulled from here, as well as the Trebuchet, which is close by. So my fear is that for Vortix right now, this could be a bad position. He thinks that this decision might be good, but the problem's going to be if this gets spotted out by Puppy Paw, which it does, Trebuchet could very easily reroute over towards this position. Villagers as well. Let's watch to see how quickly he reacts here. Villagers on the south side going to get picked up on that stone mine. In fact, he's just pulling the villagers to kill all of his enemy villagers. Trebuchet is actually not being rerouted at this point in time. Villagers going to have to fall back. A couple of them getting stuck in here. Keep gets cancelled. He says, you know what? That was probably a little bit too optimistic. I'll take it back. I will take it back. More villagers moving out once again to that stone mine. Lance are going to be able to go out there and meet them. Trebuchet's looking insane right now for Vortix. He is looking to finish this game, and with that, we've got a landmark that might be going down. Keep in mind, there's 1, 2... Oh my god, that's going to be the 3rd landmark back down here. Keep in mind, he's got the Barbican that's back towards the base, but he could look to finish this game early. Or not even early, but he could just look to finish this game with a landmark victory if Puppy's not able to hold on. Puppy at the moment on 115 villagers, losing his trebuchets of his own. Villagers going to be coming in and looking to get the repair off, managing to make it back in time. The repair rate is just going to absolutely take over. He's not even concerned, and God, my lord, how good does that damn sound? That sounds amazing. Needs to try and get these landmarks back up. Second town center going to be going down. Puppy Paw not looking in a good position. And really, you just got to really give it to Vortix right now. The fact that he's been denied so much stuff and still managed to really just put the nail so deep into the coffin here of Puppy Paw. It is impressive, honestly. I gotta say, I'm impressed with the fact that Delhi's able to do this well up against China. Keep actually, I don't know whether it got taken out or whether it got... I'm pretty confident that actually got taken out. Vortix is sitting on 2k stone, though. So we'll look to see how he plays it. He's going to force those trebuchets back. In addition to the trebuchets being forced back, Springald's going to get taken out here as well. Only 2 trebuchets. I don't know how exactly this position got lost. He had so much wood in the bag. I feel like he just needed to bring a couple of villagers forward. Like, these 11 villagers that are building mills back here, if you just brought those forward, then you hold this position, you hold the keep, you get the second keep up. This keep's repaired. The trebuchet's still working down over here. The Springalds never have to worry. Was it just a lack of villagers on the front side? I'm not going to say it was a throw by Vortix, but it was definitely a misplay. Now the rest of the trebuchet is getting forced back. So much progress has just been lost from Vortix. He was in a really decent position. It was looking scarily good. There was one landmark that was remaining in the back of the base for Puppy Paw. There was the potential that he looked to take that out, and with that easily would have been able to take out the Barbican in the middle. But not going to be the case today. Keep up on top of the mountain. I say on top of the mountain, but it's right at the base of the mountain, to be honest. But it is up on the hill. Going to be able to pick off a lot of these ranged units. The crossbowmen going to be losing their lives. You can see them all on the ground, just continuing to die. Keep just doing God's work over here. Look, oh my god, that is some damage, dude. What is the damage of a keep? 14 bow damage. How much health have these guys got? 80? Phew. Jeez, that is quick. Blacksmith going up in the middle, because why not? I can't think of a better place for it. I guess it's a big building, like body blocks. Is that the case for it? Maybe that's the case for it. Barbican is still getting focused down. Double trebuchet on the backside. I don't know where that 3rd trebuchet went. There was 3. Might have got taken out by the Springalds. Clock Tower Springalds all looking good, looking healthy. One of them still on relatively low health. Also got the Tower Elephants now beginning to come out, making their way onto their fields. Combat of the Defender, interestingly not used here. I mean, I brought this up a couple of times here, but yeah, to me, it really makes sense to, in this matchup, go Combat of the Defender, go heavy on the keeps, you know, really just pull 20 villagers, put everybody else on the stone, and just look to get a lot of them down. But it wasn't the case here. Knight's going to be able to find some villagers back here. A quick villager stock take, 73 villagers for Vortix, 112 for Puppy Paw. He's up about 40 villagers, down about 3 relics though. But keep in mind, there's still those 2 relics out on the map for him to capture in the event he wishes to, in the event he wants to. In the middle of the map, the Barbican does go down. He's going to be able to get that one back up. Springald's going to be focusing down the enemy Springald's, getting some good numbers in here. Tower Elephant moving forward, looking to try and take out a couple of the siege units that are here. Villager's going to get pulled out here as well. They're going to come out and look to try and tank up a bit of the damage, it seems. And very happily, the Elephant says, sure, I'll happily let you tank my face. And unfortunately, they lose their life, or at least one of them does. Villagers now head back towards the Barbican. And I gotta say, this is shaping up to be a pretty good game. The longer this game goes on, as we talked about in the early stages, the more likely it is that China wins. And now China going to be dropping down, or rather Puppy Paw going to be dropping down a keep in the center of the map here. He's looking good at this stage in the game. 3 barracks also going to be coming out for him. Moving in towards a hardened spearman, as well as a crossbow composition. Got the nest of bees on the backside as well. So curious decision for him to go into this. We now begin to see 3 tower elephants coming out. We're right on board with Vortex once again. Only 3 scholars? Is that all he's got? He's got 3 in the queue. We'll double check and make sure. 7 scholars, it says. So he's got a couple out on the map at the moment. But these scholars at the moment are going to be the key to keeping these elephants alive. And you can see the elephants just getting absolutely shredded by the keep. And actually, that's something that I didn't mention in this matchup. You can just use your keep to take down and to focus all of the scholars down. Scholars going to be moving forward here, looking to try and pick up the tower elephant. The keep going to be going down, forced away by the clock tower bombards. Only 200 stone in the bag here. Things not looking good right now for Vortex. Stabilization has definitely occurred for Puppy Paw. He's managed to keep himself alive, and it all just came down to this keep. If he just had 7 or 8 villagers up here repairing the keep from the very beginning when it was getting attacked, it would have been a completely different game. He had all the resources in the bank for him to do it as well. But now Vortex going to be on the defense. A little bit of a stalemate in the middle, but things going to be transitioning well for our Chinese player. Vortex on 115 population compared to Puppy Paw on 183. And at this point in time, if I was going to do that little slider at the top, I'd have to say that right now, Puppy Paw is sitting at about 91, 92%. He's managed to do very well throughout this game, and the keep in the center is going to solidify that position. He's got the springled mass. He's got the trebuchets out. He's got plenty of crossbows here in the event that there's knights that come out. And he's also going into veteran spearmen. All he really needs to do now is go to Imperial. That's the big factor. He goes to Imperial, he gets 2 to 3 bombards out, and that's all she wrote from there. But we'll look to see. It looks like he might be thinking about finishing it in the castle age. Focusing down on the keep. Now, you can see all the villagers he's got over here. 20 villagers. If he had half of these villagers over on the initial keep, this game would probably be over. It would probably be over. Sacred Site now getting neutralized in the middle. I didn't even realize it had been captured by Vortex. Keep in mind, these Sacred Sites towards the edges of the map. Nowhere near ever captured. It wasn't even close. And the thing is, Vortex never even went to challenge them. He never even said, okay, I'm just going to send, 2 spears and a scholar out here. He just left them. He was like, all right, I guess we'll just play with 1 Sacred Site. So Puppy Paw just demonstrating his prowess in this matchup and just really playing it well. Keep coming up on the front line. He's going to be looking to try and rush it up. We'll see whether the trebuchets, you know what? There's no trebuchets left. Keep going to be able to get up here. Sacred Site neutralized. Fitted Leatherwork now coming in as well. Looking to get those +2 ranged armor. Actually, Fitted Leatherwork, +1 melee armor. I apologize. Oh, I'm thinking of the wedge rivets. My bad. So looking to get those military upgrades. Greased Axle's going to be coming in as well. Looking to move that speed. Still got this Nest of Bees sitting here. This Nest of Bees has been here since the very beginning. This was the first unit he made with it. And he's just never rallied it or never moved it out of position. Keeps still being ignored down towards this southern position. To be honest, it's not really achieving much. So it makes sense for him to ignore that. But now, it looks like, just as I say it, Trebuchet is going to be moving down towards this position. I suspect he's just going to be looking to attack ground. Indeed he is. He's got no line of sight on it. So the trick is he's just going to attack ground right here. You can see the shot might change. Yeah, there you go. So that's the likely spot that he's attacked ground. And obviously when we see, that's where the keep is. So with that keep is slowly but steadily going to be losing its life. He's got some pretty good accuracy on these bad boys. Beautiful shots there. Four shots on target towards the north. The elephant's looking to break through with a big mass of Springalds right now. My lord, those Springalds are healthy and happy. Spirit Way in the middle of the map. Going to be coming down now. Could be thinking about Chokunu. Could be thinking about... Indeed is thinking about Chokunu. Going for veteran Chokunu right now. So that is my angle that I like to play in this matchup. I love to go for the big Chokunu mass. Really get them out and get them proud. He's only got 4 in the bank at the moment. So definitely going to be more of a long-term investment. Units moving out as well. He's got the Nest of Bees looking to fire down upon the units. Let's see how he goes as the Scholars look to try and hold on. We're entering into the cinematic mode as the Springald's going to be moving up here. Looking to try and take out the Springalds of his enemy. At the same time, the elephants are just holding on for dear life, but they're getting healed up. You can see just how well they're doing. We'll change into the perspective of our Delhi player, and you can see the elephant, the first one does go down. Scholars moving forward and looking to heal up that elephant. You can see just the scaling on that elephant doing so damn well. The Scholars on the backside, they're trying to keep him alive. Unfortunately, that Stampy is going to be going down. Crossbow's doing a decent job cutting through the armor. Or not cutting through the armor because technically they're not armored, but still doing a lot of damage here. able to take out these units. And I got to tell you, I didn't realize that crossbows did so effectively up against these elephants. This is impressive watching this. Is this the secret counter right now? This might be the secret counter to the elephant in Age 3. I never even realized this. These aren't elite crossbows. This is all available to him in Age 3. He manages to hold with just Age 3 crossbows and veteran spearmen. I genuinely didn't even realize that crossbows were that good. 14 damage up against the 6 armor. So they're getting 8 through. So if you were to have like 30 crossbows, 8 times 30, you're doing 240 damage a pop. So you're 4-shotting them, and then you throw in I guess you got to throw in the fact that there's always the potential for healing. I don't know how he's out DPSing all those scholars. Hold on. Don't tell me. Oh no, he's got it. He's got the upgrade. I was going to say, don't tell me he hasn't got the healing upgrade. But now the hand cannoneers are out. This is it. This is all over Red Rover at this point in time. Hand cannoneer is going to be able to just go through that armor so quickly. More elephants going to be coming out. I can't help but feel it might be too little too late though. Trebuchet is going to be looking to get in the mix as well. Hand cannoneer is going to be careful here. Not a lot to help them out on the front line. You can see them all falling back now, trying their best to escape. But things looking really good for China at this point in time. 155 population for Vortex. 128 for Puppy Paw. Oh my lord. Where did things go wrong for Puppy Paw? You know what? He's going into bombards. He's going into hand cannons. I'm still not worried. I'm still not worried. Let's take a look and see. I want to have a look at the university. Let's see if he's got one. He doesn't actually have one. I was going to go looking for one, but he doesn't even have it. University pyrotechnics would be great here. I suspect it's going to come down any second. How has he not gotten this when you're going such a composition like this? But we'll wait and see how he plays it out. Trebuchet's getting some good shots on. Barbican once again going to be going down in the middle. Elite Spearman going to be coming out and looking to connect out here with the horsemen. Or rather, with the tower elephants, rather. Now moving back on top of these Springhoods. We'll take a look and see. I don't think he's got any of the Springhood upgrades. In fact, he doesn't have a lot of the Springhoods. This could actually be bad right now for Puppy Paw. He's got to be careful. Things were going well for him. What went wrong for Puppy Paw? He's got to be really careful. The numbers out here right now for Vortex are looking healthy. 134 population versus 158. Vortex in a pretty decent position. He's on 120 villagers as well. I'm starting to get worried. I'm starting to get concerned. The push coming back now, but now the bombards are out. The hand cannoneer is going to be able to hold here. Bombard's going to be effective against every single unit in this composition now from Vortex. And with that, he's going to be able to push back these elephants. Things all of a sudden starting to look a little bit safer for Puppy Paw as he continues pushing forward with just a handful of units, but they are powerful. Remember, he's got the hand cannoneers, the bombards, very, very cost-effective units back here. Or rather population-effective units, kind of like the elephants in that regard. And now moving forward towards the villagers. There's not a lot of units back here. He's able to take out a lot of the siege on the backside. Bombard beginning to fire off. It continues to move up, and good game going to get called. It's going to be Vortex that taps out. Your second game in this match, or in this series, going to be going over to Puppy Paw, and Puppy Paw looking very, very strong here today. 2 wins for him, and actually going to be able to pick up the China win. So, you know, we saw earlier where Vortex threw away his China up against Puppy Paw's Mongols. Puppy Paw, on the other hand, says, well, I'm not going to throw away my China. I'm going to win with it. So a big upset in that regard. We'll take a look at the villager count, and you can see that's that second town center coming through for the Chinese, helping out a huge amount there in that early stage of the game. Military count, it started to look a little bit scary there. You can see the fight from Puppy Paw. Look at that, losing so many damn units. But he did manage to take out quite a few elephants on the way out. But fellas, that is it. That's going to be your game number 2. We're going to be heading into game number 3 shortly in this series. So that'll be the next video uploaded onto the channel. Don't go anywhere if you're interested in seeing the outcome of this series. We'll catch you guys in the next one.